Run it up, then run it back. Run it up, then run it back. Run it up, run it back. Run it up, then run it back. Yeah.
Oh, hello, and the happiest of Mondays to everyone. What's up, guys? How's everyone doing?
All good on my end, Michelle.
It's very dark. It's so early. We're all kind of spread out today, and we are ready to give you some basketball. Guy, there's a lot of there's some hoops to talk about, but there's also some of the extra stuff to talk about as well. It feels like forever ago that it was Friday, but let's get to it. Jimmy Butler. Yeah. Since we spoke last, Miami Heat, they suspended him for 7 games for conduct detrimental to the team. Obviously, the Players Association is going to file a grievance, calling it excessive and inappropriate. We all know he's indicated he wants to trade. They are now listening to offers. That sort of changed a little bit since the last time we discussed Pat Riley. He's already served game 1 of his suspension on Saturday. Lou, have we seen the last of Jimmy Butler in a Miami uniform?
You know, honestly, I don't think so. I think he remains with the team, you know, just based on the sentiments of Pat Riley, the position he's taken with Jimmy suspending him 7 games. You know, outside looking in, you would think 7 games would kind of buy them some time. But if you look at their schedule, they got a lot going on in the next 10 days. You know, that's about all that they get from Jimmy being away from the team, about 10 days worth of time with the trade deadline looming February 8th. That's still about 3 weeks, a 3-week gap where you either got to figure out a way to trade him between now and then, between now and the next 10 days, or he's possibly going to suit up in a Miami Heat uniform unless they go a route and tell him just stay away from the team until they find a trade suitor for him. You know, with everything emerging out of Phoenix with Bradley Beal and NURKIC being benched, maybe that makes it a little bit more interesting. Maybe that speeds that timeline up. But at this point, I still feel like we may see Jimmy Butler in a Miami Heat uniform once again.
Really? Chandler, what do you think?
I don't know, Lou. It just feels like this is a wrap. It feels like the 7-game suspension, by the way, is deserved. You can't just go and say things like this. You can't basically say, I don't want to be here. It's a bad message to the organization. It's a bad message to the fans. It's a bad message to those guys in the locker room that he's just supposed to come back and play with after his suspension's up. He's made it clear that he doesn't want to be there. That's my son again. There we go.
Yeah, rambunctious.
He's made it very clear he doesn't want to be there. And look, sure, did they make any crazy moves like these other teams did? No, but this is still a solid basketball team that he's had a lot of success with Bam, an up-and-coming star, and Tyler Hero, a top 3, top 5 coach and Spo. So in a great city in Miami. So look, I've been in these situations before, and the grass isn't always greener on the other side. So I do think it's his last game there. I can't imagine he's playing another game in a Heat uniform. And Riley would be silly not to shop him, because even if he does come back and play this year with them, there's no way this dude's re-signing. He's opting out and he's hitting free agency this summer. So I think too much has been done. You can't look back from this. And I don't think we'll see him in a Heat jersey again this season or next season.
Lou, so I think it's interesting that you said we might still actually see him in a Heat uniform. I mean, if we've learned anything about Jimmy Butler, he really does kind of do what he wants when he wants. So even if he were to suit up again, would he play nice? Like, I can't imagine that he would go out there and play nice.
Yeah, well, he already said he was going to be a professional. He was going to compete at the highest level he could. The reason why all of it started, he had a couple bomb games and he felt like he wasn't impacting winning. You know, he said the joy wasn't there, and he just wasn't giving him the level of Jimmy Butler that he's accustomed to giving the team. You know, only reason I think that he's going to play again, because why not just suspend him or send him away from the team indefinitely until you find you a trade suitor? I don't see that happening. They put a specific game on it. They put a specific time limit on it, and then they'll look back into it. And Pat Riley has said they have no plans on trading Jimmy Butler. You know, so is Jimmy trying to force his way out of Miami and find a better place for himself? Absolutely. That doesn't necessarily mean that Miami Heat have to cooperate with that, especially if they don't feel like they can find the value for Jimmy Butler out there in the trade market right now as it is.
Yeah, but if you're Pat Riley, right now, I'm Pat Riley, I'm kind of lowering my value, right? I'm lowering my expectations. I'm trying to get back as much as I possibly can just to kind of salvage this team this season moving forward, because Jimmy Butler is super valuable. We all know how great he can be. But at the end of the day, this has become more of a distraction than anything for this team. And they're right there. They're currently at the 5 seed. They're healthy. So I don't see like why this is such a panic down there, but clearly this is a personal relationship that's gone sour. He's straight up said he's not even having joy playing basketball anymore. These are the type of things that you hear when you see, you know, there's about to be a move made. So obviously I'm not there. I don't know everything that's going on. I know this happens often, and clearly he's trying to push his way out. So if I'm Pat Riley, maybe I'm lowering my standards a little bit of what I can get back, but I'm definitely trying to get back something before this dude just leaves this summer.
It happens a lot.
Yeah, I was just gonna say distraction. I agree. This is a distraction for the Miami Heat, and we know how much they hate that with the culture they've tried to build over decades of time. But we also know in that same amount of time, it's always been Pat Riley's way or the highway. And right now, this is going Pat Riley's way. If Jimmy forces a trade out, this goes Jimmy's way. So who knows? It looks like this is going to be a tug of war of who wants to be right and who wants to be in a position to be the guy that wins this tug of war, this battle that they're going through. But up to date, it's always gone Pat Riley's way.
It's a big alpha battle is what's going on. By the way, if we have to assess blame here, whose fault is this, Chandler?
I don't know that it's anyone's fault necessarily. I mean, they didn't really add other pieces around it, but they still have enough to be competitive and to win. Again, they're at the end of the day, they're paying him a boatload of money. They've pretty much given him everything he wants contractually. Like I said earlier, he has Tyler Hero. He's got Bam. He's got these pieces to be able to compete. And he's got one of the best coaches in the league playing in Miami in one of the top 3, top 5 cities. So I don't know if there's anyone to blame. This just happens. And sometimes with a signing, with a player, with a franchise where it just goes south and it goes the other way. And it's just time for a change. And I don't know if that's Jimmy's fault, if that's Pat's fault, if that's Spo's fault, who ruffled the feathers originally. But this just seems like a relationship that was fine. And they had some bumps. So let's not forget last year and a couple years ago, Udonis Haslem and Jimmy getting into it, and Spo and Jimmy getting into it on the bench. Like, there's definitely been some hiccups throughout this relationship, but at the end of the day, they won and they had a lot of success. And, like Lou said, they identified this Heat culture where they could just turn it on in the playoffs. That didn't happen last year. So now it doesn't look like it's going to happen again this year. So I don't know if there's someone to blame here. I just think it's just gone sour and it's time for a change.
I think they got to remove those jerseys that say Heat culture on them from the rotation. Like, I feel like those need to be collector's items now. It doesn't work. We've got others. No, it's just put it in the closet. We got another story coming out of Phoenix now. Chris Haynes reporting that the Phoenix Suns are now going to bench Bradley Beal and JUSUF NURKIC. They're going to put in Ryan Dunn and Mason Plumlee into the starting lineup. They've gone 6-16 since they started the season at 9-2. They are 12th in the West. Unacceptable, Chandler. Unacceptable. Will this do something? Will this trigger something for this team?
It'll trigger something. It'll trigger a pissed off max player with a no trade clause that might get a little more lenient now on that no trade clause, because there's no way Bradley Beal thinks he's a bench player right now at this point of his career. He's pretty much in his prime. And yeah, he's had some injuries. He's struggled a little bit, but there's no way he's ready to make that move to the bench right now. And they had such high hopes with this big 3 and Beal and Booker and KD, and they signed the point guard, Tyus Jones. It was the only thing they were missing last year. Now one of the big 3 pieces is going to the bench, and NURKIC, who's your solid everyday big man. He's also going to the bench. So I'd like to think Coach Bud had conversations with these vets beforehand. This isn't just an overnight move, slap in the face. Look, guys, we're doing this. I'm assuming that they agreed to it to some extent, for him to do this, just as a respect level from a coach and a player of guys like Beal and NURKIC that have been in the league for a really long time. But you got to respect the move from Bud. A lot of times we sit back and we think these coaches aren't doing anything and they have to make adjustments. This is a huge adjustment. And now I don't know how it's going to go over in the locker room, but something needs to happen with this team, with the rotations, with the lineup. They're way too good. They're too talented to be 3 games under 500 and 12th in the West. So when you lose 7 out of 8 games, you have to make a shocking move like this. You have to kind of get the attention of everybody in that locker room, because clearly what they're doing isn't working. So I respect it. I just don't know if this is going to be received as well from a guy like Bradley Beal, who's a max player, looking to be in his prime, looking to be at all-star level now. You can't help but take this as a demotion to the bench.
Lou, I mean, what do you think? Can you talk Bradley Beal into loving the bench? What do we do here?
Absolutely not. Bradley Beal probably feels like he's still in the prime of his career. He got a lot of good basketball left to offer to a team that needs a two guard that can go out and get you 30 points a night. So I don't think him coming off the bench is going to be the future for Bradley Beal. I think this is something short term until they figure out a trade partner for him where he's going to take that trade kicker and kick it out the window and find a new home for himself, because that's not why he came to Phoenix. He didn't come out the Phoenix to be the sixth man of the year, and neither did NURKIC, So those guys coming off the bench, listen, I played for Bud. So I'm almost telling y'all as a matter of fact. Obviously, I can't confirm it, but I haven't spoke to him. But there for sure was a conversation. And knowing Bud, it wasn't a lot of questions being asked. He's going to tell you what he's looking to do, and then he's going to move forward, and he's going to coach the basketball team the best way he sees fit to give them an opportunity to win as many basketball games as they can. But one thing I will say, it'll be interesting to see if these guys can buy in. If you can buy into this, at the top of games, Bradley Beal and NURKIC, they can go out and play two-man game at the top of the second quarter and the end of first quarters for 8 to 9 minutes. Nobody can bother them. It can go unbothered, and they can get up as many reps as they can and see how they can impact winning that way. But I don't see this being a long-term solution for the Phoenix Suns moving forward with these two guys, especially with where they are in their careers coming off the bench.
And like in theory, it sounds good to say, oh, Beal, you could run the second unit, but he thinks he can bust, people in the first unit. He is not a guy that's going to be like, oh, you're right, I can get off now going against second unit. Like, this is Bradley Beal we're talking about, all-star, all-NBA type talent. He's not going to receive this well. But on the flip side, this is how coaches get fired if they don't make splashes like this. And if for the small chance this does work and they go on a run now, Bud looks brilliant, and Bud looks like a genius for having the nuts and for having the confidence to make this move. So it's risky, and it's going to ruffle some feathers, and it's going to piss off these two guys for sure, no matter what they say in the media. This is an ego-blowing move, but it's needed. Like I said, when you lose 7 of 8 and you have this much talent on this roster, you got to do something, and this is something.
So, okay, trying not to be cynical here. Number one, Lou, does it help that it's two guys being benched? So it's not just singling out, for example, Bradley Beal, number one. And secondly, is there a part of this that is just all part of the mind games of, hey, man, we're going to bench you, and now maybe you can request that trade, so that whole no trade clause thing we can get rid of? Because if you're Bradley Beal, the reason to have a no trade clause is because you want to stay in Phoenix and make things work. Well, clearly they're not working. I would think he'd be more open to it at this point, no?
No, well, I just think Bud is coaching the best way he sees fit for them to move forward. He doesn't really play a lot of tricky games. This is a guy. This is a guy that traded me my first time in my career, and he looked me square in the eyes and said, "I don't think this is working here. I'm going to find you somewhere else to resume your career, and maybe you can get back on your feet elsewhere." He looked me in my eyes and said that. So I don't see Bud in the front office in Phoenix playing a lot of games, especially with these guys' careers. I think it was an honest and upfront conversation, and whether he was happy or not, ultimately Budenholzer, this was the move that he was going to make, and this is what he saw fit for the team moving forward. I don't see him doing this to try to provoke Bradley Beal in any way to be upset to request a trade and waive his no trade clause.
I thought this was an NBA Centel, by the way. When this happened, I thought this was NBA Centel. I thought we were getting played. I did not. Wow.
The no trade clause, Michelle, is not to make it work in Phoenix. It is to not get shipped back to a Washington or get traded to a rebuilding franchise. That is why Bradley Beal has that in his contract. That is why he did that. It's of course he probably wants to make it work, and Phoenix, especially with all the expectations that they had with this big three, with this team going forward. But that is why he has this, and he's got the leverage, he's got the power. But a move like this might make him a little more, open to a trade to somewhere that he didn't necessarily think he'd want to be at initially.
I mean, it's brilliant. We should all be so lucky to have that in our contracts. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, he's back. Boogie Cousins joins the show. I bet he's going to have lots of opinions on all of these stories.
Run it up, run it back, yeah.
Get on my level. Get on my level. DeMarcus Cousins with the fork. That is remarkable. Too strong, way too gone. Cousins, oh boy. Got it up and it's stuck. Get on my level.
Yeah, he's back. Boogie's here. Happy Monday. I just realized all of our backgrounds are very similar colors. And honestly, guys, we need to up it. It's depressing. Okay, that being said, I am glad you're here today because there's a ton of stuff to have opinions on. And we're starting with obviously Jimmy in Miami, Jimmy Butler having been suspended. All of that came through on Friday, 7 games. Obviously, the Players Association not thrilled about it. And now it looks like they're open. The phone lines are open for trade possibilities. So do you blame one individual in this? Is this an effort by everybody?
Yeah, this is an even effort all around. Sometimes in business it gets a little nasty, and this is a prime example of that. Us being former players, none of us can be mad at Jimmy for wanting to go get the money he feels he deserves or that he's earned. And then also with Pat Riley running his organization, he runs it a certain way. He has his own certain style, and nothing's changing with that. So obviously this is going to be, obviously this is 2 bullheaded individuals, so this is obviously a sword fight. So you can't really blame anybody. It's just an unfortunate situation, and I think eventually it'll get ironed out and figured out, and guys will go, the ways they want to go, and what's best for them individually. So eventually it'll get ironed out.
What's crazy to me is that as a fan of basketball, Jimmy Butler's always loved because he sort of goes against the grain and has said what he wants to say. And there's all these fun stories, the practice in Minnesota, all those things. But now it looks like the fans down in Miami are actually turning on him, going as far as painting over a mural on his headband saying, "I quit." Right. How do we feel about that, by the way? I didn't think we'd see that day.
That's the monster of this business. They love you until they're tired of you. And one thing you'll learn quickly is, no matter how much influence or power or, credit you think you've earned in this league, it'll never be bigger than the machine. And the machine's going to always be able to, control the narrative. So with that being said, he went from hero to villain overnight, and that's product of the machine.
Yeah, this is just a prime example of what have you done for me lately, right? And right now he's not playing, and it looks as if he doesn't want to be there. He's saying he doesn't want to be there, so the fans are taking that on him. But Boogie, he said that he recently lost the joy of playing basketball, which is something I can relate to. In Memphis, that whole organization, fan base, it made me so cold where I didn't even want to go to the facility. I didn't even want to hoop. And is that something that just a fresh start, a change of scenery can fix? Is it something that's fixable here in Miami? Like, how does that work with this situation?
On the outside looking in, this is a situation where Jimmy just feels underappreciated. And I can see why. Obviously the Heat culture is, it's been a huge thing throughout our league, and, they've represented the way they want to represent, and they found success in doing that. But, the truth is, outside of Bam, Jimmy, and Hero, it's a limited roster. And I feel like Jimmy has overachieved time and time again to take that team to, 2 conference finals and the finals. Like, that's a big deal. So I can understand Jimmy's frustration. He feels undervalued. He feels unappreciated, and he just wants what he thinks he deserves. So just gonna be an ugly situation, man. And then on top of it, it's not where it's a passive guy and it's an aggressive. It's these are 2 strongly bullheaded people. So it's definitely gonna be a clash, and I don't see it ending after the suspension. I think it's an ongoing situation because something has to be figured out.
So I'm wondering, we know obviously, he's due a lot of money. So we get the value, the literal value of the deal. But as far as Jimmy Butler, he's 35 years old. What is his value to another team out there? Is he still good enough to put him on a roster and it jacks up the contention value of that team?
Absolutely. I think by foundation, Jimmy is just a natural born winner. And that's what he brings to any team he joins. So I think that's another thing that kind of gets overlooked when it comes to Jimmy Butler and throughout his career. Everywhere he's gone, he's been a winner. So I don't think that'll change just because he's 35. I mean, I think he does a great job of taking care of his body. He's always in shape. You know, none of these things are ever a question with him. You put him next to a Kevin Durant and a Devin Booker, it changes that team around 100%. I'm even a fan of him going back to Minnesota and being with Ant Edwards. Dogs need other dogs with them. So I think Jimmy would be a great fit next to Anthony Edwards. So I think I definitely think, I mean, him in Milwaukee, they're automatically a contender. So I do think, you know, winning is still attached to Jimmy Butler's name. It's just about, you know, putting him in the right situation. And even him staying in Miami is still a fixable situation. Do I have the answers on how to fix it? No, but I do think it's still a fixable situation. And, you know, I think they can still find success moving forward as well.
I do like him with all those teams that you said too. And I like him in State. I like him on a Denver. I like him on a team where there's a clear-cut alpha where he was almost forced to fit in a way, but he still can be Jimmy and he still can do all these little things. Now, at the end of the day, Boog, it's still Miami.
But to piggyback off of what you just said, even if it's not a clear-cut alpha, a team that needs an alpha, like a Phoenix.
Right.
So I think, like I said, I think it's some good situations out there that are perfect for him. It's just, you know, trying to maneuver through to make those happen. But sorry about that. Finish what you were saying, John.
Oh, it's all good. I was just going to say, at the end of the day, it is Miami. They're always going to get free agents. But everything that happened with this situation, LeBron and D-Wade and Shaq, will this prevent other superstars from wanting to go there while Pat Riley, while Spo is there? Or is this still an awesome place to go?
No, not at all. I think Miami will still be a good destination. I think people will always keep that in the back of their mind as far as thinking long term with the organization, because it's obvious they don't take care of their superstars. I mean, Shaq has come out, Hall of Famer, top 10 player all time. D-Wade, top 3 shooting guard. Like the list goes on of the type of superstars they've had. But LeBron James, I mean, arguably the greatest all time. Like, if it didn't go well for these guys, I mean, it's proof in the pudding that Pat Riley doesn't care. It's his way or no way. So it is what it is.
Pat Riley is paid enough to come around on a plane and take cookies away from guys. Like, that should tell you how much.
Cookies?
Yes.
Why?
It's been a story that LeBron had cookies on the plane, and Pat Riley had the stewardess take the cookies away, and that's what started the.
Wait, what kind of cookies? Special cookies, or what's wrong with the cookies?
Not the fun cookie.
Listen, I'll give you guys my source. It was Instagram. Okay, Instagram said Pat Riley came out and took LeBron cookies. But I think, if I'm not mistaken, there's been guys that come out and back this up. If I'm not mistaken,
I believe it.
Because he can. Honestly, it's because he can. That's why he would do something like that. I want to circle back to something you said, Boogie, because I'm fascinated by the alpha conversation. I feel like you just know if someone's an alpha or not. Like, if you have to tell someone you're an alpha, you're not an alpha. But you mentioned that Phoenix needs an alpha, and I'm like, well, hold on. What about Kevin Durant, Devin Booker? Are they not how we are looking at Jimmy Butler as being, like, as you said, like a dog?
Different kind of alpha.
And I'm not saying this in a way of, you know, trying to diss Kevin Durant or Devin Booker. That's not what I'm saying at all. When I say alpha, it's just a clear cut voice, that guy that can lead you, you know, through good and bad. And I think Jimmy is that guy. And I can say that because I was teammates with Kevin Durant. Like, that's a guy that leads through his work. He leads through his actions. He doesn't really have. I mean, he speaks, he uses his voice, but he's more of a guy that just does it through his actions, which, you know, people lead in different ways. But as far as them, I think Jimmy is that voice. I think he's that enforcer, and also just a guy that can change the game on both ends of the floor for them. I think, you know, they have 2 guys that can handle the scoring and, you know, all the flashy plays, in Kevin Durant and Devin Booker. You need a junkyard dog out there that'll do all the dirty work, you know, guard the best players and make the winning plays. And I think Jimmy Butler is that for that Phoenix team.
Well, it looks like that would be a very clean trade if they wanted to do that. All right, we got to get to Sacramento for a second, because you obviously spent a lot of years up there, and they fired Mike Brown. So what was your opinion? What was your reaction when that
History
went down.
repeats itself. History repeats itself. I've seen this story before. It's the same blame game. It's always the next guy. It was me at one point. It was Luke at another point. It was the next coach after that. Now it's Mike. Now I remember it was Buddy Hield. I mean, it's always the next guy's fault. Like it starts at the top, man. Got to find some stability. It's been a lot. I mean, I don't even want to sit here and try to count all the coaches, but it's been a lot of coaches. It's no stability. It's no direction. It's a constant blame game. Starts at the top. Top has to get it together. It's time for some new advisors, something. Get some new friends. Get some people that are smarter than you or you feel are smarter than you to help you make these decisions. But it's just time to really focus on where the blame is, and that's at the top. It's got to be a change as far as decision making. Like, just get some new friends, bro. That's my best advice. Like, the decisions that are being constantly made are not working. You are continuing to fail. This was a step back. Get new friends, bro.
Yeah. Now, one player who's been balling since the firing is De'Aaron Fox. Does this give the Kings a better shot of re-signing him now with Mike gone, or this isn't the coach, this is ownership, front office, this is a bigger problem than just the coach finally? You think Fox stays? You think he goes? Because he's balling right now.
I think if he makes all NBA, he stays. If not, he's out.
Wow.
At this point, I believe it's about, what's best for my career, what's going to elevate my career. Like I said, if he can make all NBA, that's a step, that's a step up in his career. Obviously, that's adding to the accolades. If not, I think he has to find a new organization that can help elevate him. And I think that's where his mind is right now.
Yeah. Boogie, in all fairness, man, the Kings, they have won 4 straight. Even though they lost they lost the first game after firing Mike Brown, but they won 4 straight after that. But they sit in 11th place. Do you think they can turn this thing around? It's gonna be a long road ahead, but you think they can turn it around and get back in this playoff scene?
I think they're still a very talented team. Their best player in De'Aaron Fox, he's a hell of a talent, so they obviously have the talent to do so. I just feel, them firing Mike Brown at this point in the season, or in general at all, was just a step back for this organization and his team. He's literally the second successful coach in the history of the Sacramento Kings. Like, it was Adelman and then Mike Brown. So this is mind-blowing to me why this was, the decision they went with. But as far as that, this is a step back for them. I just don't see them moving forward and finding, an answer through a coach or whatever the case may be. I felt like the culture was in the right place. I felt like everybody was on the page. Obviously, they hit, some hard parts in the season, which is a part of it. But I felt like the foundation was there as far as, moving in the right direction with Mike Brown. So it's gonna be tough to bounce back from this.
Yeah, it was confusing. I think also just how they handled it, right? Like the stories about how he does it in media, and then he's on the way to the plane. It's felt a little scapegoaty. At this end of the beginning of the season, though, Boog, you said that the Lakers weren't a serious team. Now look, now they're 5th in the West. Have you changed your mind a little bit, or are we still on that same vibe?
They playing ball. They're balling. Obviously, I was wrong, but it was also from a point of, what moves were they making to, compete for this next year? And obviously, throughout the summer, the only move they did make was, drafting Bronny, which was separate from the conversation in general. But for me, that's not a team showing that they're trying to make moves to make a championship run. So that's what I meant by those comments. But, as of right now, the team, they're playing at a high level. They're playing great. And obviously, they're 5th in the West. They have a great chance. But, the West has been so up and down this year. It's still a very long season. We'll see how this thing plays out. But as of right now, the Lakers are balling, and I was completely wrong.
Nope, Boogie, you don't have to say you're wrong yet. Okay, it's only January.
I have no problem saying I'm wrong. I have no problem.
I'm not letting you say that yet. It's early. Okay, we got the Suns. The benching of Bradley Beal and NURKIC, that is now coming out. They're going to go with Ryan Dunn and Mason Plumlee. Do you think I'm curious as a player, like if you're being told not just you, but somebody else with you, you're both going to be benched. Does this help? Does this hurt? Will this trigger something for them?
Shit. Excuse me. I know we can't curse.
It's a new day.
Hey, something needs to be triggered with this team. I'm not mad at Bud. Like, something needed to be done to, like, we need some emotions. I need somebody upset. I need something, like, because what they're doing so far just isn't working. I'm not mad at Bud for trying to, ruffle some feathers, get some, some passion and emotion in the game. Maybe we see a 30-point performance from Brad off the bench. Who knows? But at this point, something needed to be done with this team. I could see from Brad's perspective being upset about it, but it also may be a strategic move with the front office. This may help him lift that no trade clause. He's not happy here in Phoenix. He's coming off a bench. So it's a lot of different angles you can kind of look at this as to why they made this decision. But something needs to be done in Phoenix, and I'm not mad at Bud for this move.
Oh.
Yeah, switching gears, Boogie, we've talked about the West being up and down, but the one consistent out there has been the Oklahoma City Thunder. They won 15 straight after their win yesterday against the Boston Celtics, rather kind of convincingly too. You think they can give them a run for their money in a 7-game series and possibly put themselves in a position to win a title?
I think they have the talent to do so. I absolutely do. But it all comes back down to experience. A regular season game compared to a 7-game series, that's two different monsters. That Celtics team has plenty of experience of being under that spotlight. This OKC team is young and up and coming, full of talent. I think they have, plenty of title runs down the line. But as of right now, I'm going to roll with the defending champs just because of the experience and, they've been there before. So I'm not really convinced by this past game or this regular season game. 7-game series, I'm still rolling with the Celtics.
Man, they do look good. It's pretty exciting. Okay, we got to talk a little Anthony Edwards. He had 53. This is what I'm afraid of, Boogie. All right, we all love Anthony Edwards. We would pay top dollar to watch him play. He had 53 points. They still lose to Detroit. Does not talk to the media afterwards. When he has talked to the media, it's been very emotion-filled, very passionate-filled. Last time he's talking about how other teams are guarding him. He's not with that. And we love that about him. I'm also worried that it's getting to him and that he's pissed off at the organization for making the moves that they made. Oh, we lost Boogie. Who the heck is Andrew Rogers? No, he's still there. I can hear him. Oh, now I'm the only one on the screen. Well, that's fascinating. He's there. So are you, when you hear him, when you see him, when you realize he's one of the faces of this league, but he's starting to get beat down by this situation, how do you feel about that?
I know the feeling, brother. I know the feeling, man. I think it was a horrible decision to trade Cat this offseason. I think that took the life out of the team. I think Cat was the heartbeat of the. I mean, obviously Ant is the top dog. He's the franchise guy, but I feel like Cat was the heartbeat of that team, and they took that heartbeat once they made that move, and they obviously took a step back this season. But also, young fella, and I'm speaking to Ant, when it comes to success and finding success in this league. You can have one great year, and that next year, teams are locked in on you. So this is a part of the game. This is the part where you have to get in the lab and get better. Don't get frustrated with the defenses and the way people are guarding you. You got to figure it out. It's all a part of the game. It's a game within the game. So this is the responsibility that comes with being a superstar, a go-to guy. The number one option on teams. This is the responsibility that comes with it. So. Be frustrated. Let that feeling boil up in you. But use that fire in the offseason to get better, and come back ready to play. And that's all you can really do in this situation.
All right, keep your mentor hat on because he's already fined. He's got about $210,000 in fines already this season, which I had to double check that. What do we do for advice on that?
I'll let in a week.
That's 210. It's a
Look,
lot.
man, the same thing they love you for is the same thing they'll kill you for. You got to get a filter. I know they've let you be your authentic self, and they've promoted it, and they're all for it, but they'll also burn you with the same thing they love. So walk that thin line. Be smart about it. And sometimes it's just better to just shut up.
Wow. Oh, I love it, Boogie. Over the weekend, Wemby and Jokic put on an absolute show. Friday and Saturday, back-to-back games. It was awesome. Two of the best bigs. Wemby goes for 35 and 17 or 18, and Jokic says he's going to be remembered forever. Now, the dude is 21 years old. Is it crazy to say he's going to be one of the greatest of all time already? Do we just got to keep letting him rock, or you already see it?
Well, I already see it, and I feel like we were having this conversation before he played his first game, just to see the talent, you know, the height, the build. Just this is something we've never seen before in this sport, and this kid has it all. He can literally do whatever he wants on the basketball court. So obviously the talent is there, the gift is there. It's just about staying healthy and staying consistent throughout his career. But there's no doubt in my mind he'll go down as one of the greatest. It's not even an argument. Like, at minimum, he'll be the greatest defensive player of all time. Like, minimum. I'm calling that now, like, at minimum, the greatest. So the sky's the limit for this kid.
Not going to argue with that.
Yeah, not at all. I love it, man. And man, you can speak to experience on this one. The Warriors 18-7 this season. Lost by a 30 ball last night to the Kings. And Steph came out and said, as the kids say, we are mid. We are mid pack right now. I'm not sure Steph even know what he was saying.
He know.
Say less. But I feel like the window is closing, man. You feel like the Warriors championship window was closing?
The window closed when Bob Myers left, man. I mean, at this time, they're just entertaining. They're living off, what they've done the past decade. They're always going to be a tough team. I mean, you got Steph Curry on the floor. You're always going to have a chance at being good. But I don't know. It's weird to say because I remember, early in the season, Steve Kerr came out saying this is his deepest team in a long time, and I remember seeing the comments in my head. I'm just like, this dude is tripping. Like, no, it's not. It's not even close. Like, so, I think they are still a move away from being a team that can compete. I mean, if you can get a Jimmy Butler there, it changes their whole season around. So they're obviously a move away. Like I said, as long as you got Steph Curry there, a guy like Draymond Green, you have a great chance. And but with this current roster and where they are right now, it's over. It's not looking good.
Boogie, Bob Myers is no doubt. He jumped off that ship the minute he could because he knew what was going on.
Yep. Smart guy.
Boogie, play devil's advocate with me. Play devil's advocate. If you're Steph, do you finish your career in Golden State or do you look to go somewhere else and look for a title?
Stop.
What's happening?
That's why I said play devil's advocate. I know the answer.
It's
already weird enough to see Clay.
It's success on both. Obviously, if Steph goes and wins another one, it puts him in a whole nother, atmosphere as far as greatness. But then you also think about it from a standpoint of just legacy and being in one franchise. Like, it's not many guys that can do that either. And just the legend he'll leave behind if he stayed with one franchise. So it's a tough. That's a tough one.
We can't see Steph Curry in a jersey in nobody else's jersey. We can't see it.
And for me personally, I don't want to see him in another jersey. Like, it was hard enough seeing Clay in another jersey. See Steph in another one. It's
not a world where Steph Curry goes somewhere else. If anything, they will build up the monsters around him and give him one more hurrah, kind of like they did for Kobe. Remember, Kobe asked for a trade, and boom, they bring in all the tools he needs. He go get another championship. I see that before they ever even entertain the idea of Steph Curry or even allowing him to sniff out another team at all.
Yeah, I don't see Golden State letting them go.
Oh,
yeah, for sure.
God,
It'll never be a Miami type situation with Steph. So obviously, I think Golden State to do everything in their power to keep him there. But if it was I think that would just be, if he was to leave, it would be a Steph move. Like, I want to go get one more or two more or whatever the case may be. I don't think it'll ever be where Golden State pushes him out or, they end on a bad note or anything like that. If he was to ever leave, it's because he wanted to go get another one.
And would we be mad at him if he wanted to leave? Would we turn on him like we turn on everyone? Okay, cool. I just want to make sure. Although I don't like it. I don't even like envisioning it. I'm with you on the Clay. We just got used to Clay. Like that was enough. Boogie, appreciate the time as always. We will talk soon. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, that man has a family.
Run it back, run it up.
Well, that man does have a family, and we're gonna start with this young man right here.
Oh.
Turn the TV off. Luke Cornett, if you got a family, tell him turn the TV off.
Luke Cornett's got to hit him with this closeout up, even at the rim.
Tell him, Chandler. Guide him, coach him.
Get out the way. Know your game. Get out of the way.
Just move. I'm not even. Why would I bother? We don't like to see that.
We going dancing.
Ooh.
Wow,
no.
He fell on the spin.
It's a rare L for Josh Hart.
Come here.
He was already.
Oh, that's okay.
Oh no.
Is that one worse or better? What do we? Yeah. Okay. I didn't like that one.
So much for him being one of the more boring superstars. This looks entertaining to me.
That's
A
it.
little
You're
push
sold?
Get up.
Did he push off a little bit?
So easy.
If Michael Jordan can do it, anybody can do it.
Here we go. Jamal.
Oh, gosh.
Hey, okay.
right,
Old head. Yeah, old school.
Still got it. Still got it.
Gee,
All right.
Huff. What? Why? But why?
Get down from there. That's bleed right there. He too high in the air. Oh, this didn't go how I thought it was going to go.
Hold on.
He got him. He got him on the way down too. That's a smart block. He got him literally on the way down at the rim. Look at Isaiah.
Love it.
He's feeling
Good
it.
defense.
I like that one. Okay. Trey Murphy. Oh, that's a tall human.
2 feet.
2 foot, 2 hand. Man, we haven't talked about Alex Starr in a while.
No, that's not why you want to talk about him either.
And we should till they get it together over here.
Oh,
Okay.
Good crowd.
the lob poster.
Well,
On
that's
another
just
note,
fun.
I'm digging these black uniforms though. Those are fire.
For OKC, I like them too.
Yeah, those are
Man, they're
fire.
having fun.
Also,
like
it's
this
this is a guard getting done by a big. I feel like this is acceptable.
Oh, it's acceptable.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
I didn't know where you were going with it. All right, Chandler approves. We can keep it in.
It's the leg wrap for me though.
Now, this guy's a star. I need more
I like
information.
to keep
All right.
seeing this guy on the screen.
I like this dude in the orange. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We come back, some prop party action. This is Run It Back. Take a quick look around the league, Lou. I'm going to start with you. We've got Suns at Philly tonight. These are two very underperforming squads at the moment, short of expectations. I think that's a very fair assessment. Which team has been the bigger disappointment so far, Lou? Go.
Sheesh.
I mean, I don't know how to word that nicer. I really don't.
Oh man. For the first time in a long time, I'm stumped here. But I will give that to probably the Phoenix Suns, just based on their talent level, expectations. Like we were making this team out to be a championship contender. We just haven't seen that thus far with the group. And as you can see, they're going through adjustments. You know, you put Bradley Beal, you bring Bradley Beal off the bench, you bring NURKIC off the bench, and you know that's a telltale sign of things not going your way. On the flip side, with the Sixers, you know, their problems have been injury laced. You know, they did have some missteps with PR and the things that they put out there early with Joel Embiid not playing in back-to-backs and some of those distractions. But all in all, those guys still were injured. Like Paul George still was unavailable. Joel Embiid was still unavailable. You even went a stretch where Tyrese Maxey has been unavailable. For the lion's share of this season, the Phoenix Suns have been healthy and available, you know, with the exception of one or two things with Kevin Durant having some small things and Devin Booker having some small things. But other than that, you know, primarily this team has been healthy and they've underachieved so far. So I would have to give that to the Phoenix Suns.
a tough one.
Yeah, I agree. It's the Suns, and especially just because of the health situation in Philly and the Joel Embiid, the unknown, and again, I think we were more upset with his comments early about the no back-to-backs, and I still think it's something that's bigger that's going to be having to handle surgically, but to me, it's health with them. When they all play, they are good. And Paul George is starting to get his legs back. Tyrese Maxey's back. That team still has a chance, I feel like, in the East. The Suns, now there's the drama with Beal and Nurkic coming off the bench, right? And then when these teams are healthy, they were also pretty good. If you remember early in the season when all three of them played together, they actually were a pretty solid basketball team, but they just haven't found a ways to do that consistently. They bring in Tyus Jones, who actually has been great for them this year, and it still didn't put them over the edge. So to me, I looked at the Suns like one of the better teams in the Western Conference. I thought for sure they'd be a top 4 seed, especially with that big three, and they just haven't figured out a way to get those guys playing together. And I thought the Tyus Jones would help. They added bigs with Plumlee, and Nurkic has always been solid, so they have all the pieces, but for whatever reason, basketball fit-wise just hasn't gone the Suns' way. So it'll be interesting tonight. Tonight, the night that Beal comes off the bench for the first time in his career, see how he handles that. Maybe he thrives. Maybe he plays passive and he plays pissed off. We'll see. But it's definitely a splash that Bud made. And this is kind of the things you have to do when you have such high expectations. And then your team is 15 and 18 when you're going into the season. You had real championship thoughts. So I'd have to say the more disappointing team is Phoenix, because they've at least been healthier and had their guys on the floor.
Man, we had Tyus Jones on right before the season started, and it really felt like, all right, this is it. They figured this out. It's going to work. It's been crazy to watch. They're in game 2 right now of a stretch of 11 games in 19 days. Obviously, they're 15 and 18. It's right there, 12th in the West. So after this stretch, and the schedule's kind of all over the place. They're on the road, they go home, then they go back onto the road for a bit, Chandler. Is this going to be better or worse when this 19-day stretch is over?
It's going to be better because I'm looking at Charlotte, Atlanta, Utah, Charlotte, Atlanta, Washington, Detroit, Cleveland, Brooklyn, Washington. Like these are a lot of winnable games. So the schedule is definitely going to get a little bit friendlier for them. We'll see how this Beal Nurkic thing off the bench goes, how long that actually lasts. Maybe this is just a reality check and just a 1 or 2 game thing, and they get back in there. But I don't think their minutes are going to change. I think they're going to play at the end of games. It'll be interesting to see how he manages all the rotations now. But it's a lot of games, 11 games in 19 days. But when you look at their schedule, it's a lot of winnable games for them, which is at least somewhat promising for them.
All right, let's do a little prop party, Chandler. As always, you are up first. It's for this game that we are talking about. What do you got?
I like the Sixers. I like the Sixers -3, and I like Tyrese Maxey over 24.5 points. I don't know. It's going to the first game of Beal off the bench. I don't know if it goes too well. So I like Philly.
Okay. Lou?
Yeah, I like the Sixers as well, money line, and I got Embiid having a big night at 29.5. If we're betting 33 to be specific.
God, why? We need to start checking these because you give us specifics and we don't ever go back and hold you accountable or credit you.
They never hit.
I don't know if it works. I actually have the Suns winning this one. I think maybe a little bit of a change, good or bad, helps. That's it for us. Bobby Portis. Tomorrow. Have a good one.